Okay, so we looked at tax liability, and we'll get back to it when we discuss the GST and the VAT options here. So let's just look at our summary. What are the things that are available in our summary section? So we've got profit per unit. That's what you're making. The project is making $290,000. The development margin on cost is about 7.5. So if this was a little bit more, this would turn out to be green. Now the only way you can make more here is if your end value of these units are going to go up because your costs are going to be the same, or you know that your construction costs, because you're building in an apartment building, or you know that the size of this area is going to be about 150,000, because that'll have a major impact on your total construction cost. So now when I go down here, you'll see that now the project's making 25% development margin on cost, and that is basically 250 square meters built area extra. That's all I changed here. So in construction cost, we basically reduced the construction built area by 50 square meters for each unit, and the construction cost made a huge difference here. So these are the things that you will need to play around with to be able to understand and get a deeper understanding for. So then you've got developer margin on the revenue is about 20. You know that the total project duration is about 25 months. So this is 25 months. Why? Because we've got a holding period for 8 months, and we have a build period for 14 months. And I think that's where it's coming from. These two things that's where they are coming from. Then you've got return on equity is about 53.8%, but return on equity per month is about 2.2. Return on equity annualized is about 25.8. And then you've got construction versus TDC. That means your construction is pretty high. Usually that means that you paid a little bit more for the land here. So in this scenario, if you wanted to make 20%, you should have paid 1.3. So let's go back here and make some changes to what we had before. So let's say our construction costs here, let's change that back to 200, and I wanted to show you the impact of these things. So that's telling me that we are only making 7.5% development margin on this thing. But let's say we want to make 20% at least on that thing. What that is telling me is that I should have paid only 814,000 for the land if all the costs and all the assumptions that I've made in my feasibility are correct. That's the maximum price that I should have paid for the land here, because if I want to make 20%, if I'm happy with 15%, for example, this calculation will go back again and it'll be about 964. So let's put 950,000 here for the time being as our purchase price for the land, and you'll see that we are close to 16.7% or 15% development margin, because I put in a little bit lower figure over there. So that's how all of this will change, and it'll show that okay, you're making 16.7% on the total cost for this project as your margin on the cost. So and you've got target development margin at 15% that says that I can pay up to $1 million for it. So if I change the figures, they will come very close to my residual value of land based on all the construction costs that I've got in here. So we've got developer's equity contribution, what you will need to come up with, land versus GRV. That means the land is about 24% of the total cost of this development. And then you've got target development margin or risk margin that you put that in, that you manually key in to come up with a number. We have this section here for assumptions. So when you do these feasibilities and you save them as version 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, because they are like spreadsheets that you can save them as. So if you want to add them here, you can add them here. And then we have sensitivity analysis, which I'll cover in the next video.